Hello, so I'm on my way to work and I wanted to do a big sister girl talk on how to figure out what you want to do with your life after college or after high school, because when I was 19, I studied abroad in France, and I think my experience in France is really what or I guess it was like the turning point in my life when I realized I was 19 years old and I realized that I really wanted to live in New York. And yeah, that was my goal. I was like in my mid-20s, I want to be a corporate girl in New York. I want to have a good paying job. I want to be well educated, and I just want to do my life in New York. And fast forward to 2025, and the life that I wanted when I was 19 is the life that I'm building right now. And I think the first thing with figuring out what you want to do with your life, or at least my approach, was honestly figuring out the lifestyle that I wanted. So I knew that I wanted to live in New York, and I got really specific with where in New York I wanted to live, the cost of living in New York. A lot of people move to New York and then some people are surprised by how expensive the city is. It's so important to do the math and figure out, if I want this kind of lifestyle and I want to live in this city, I want to live in this country, how much would it cost for me to rent an apartment in this city? Do I need to get roommates? What neighborhoods can I live in? What kind of job do I need to have in order to have this income so that I can live this kind of lifestyle? Like, you have to get really specific. I find that getting very detailed and specific is helpful, because then you know exactly what you need to do. I know I need to study this in school, or I know I need to get this kind of job. And then the next step is, let's say that you have a goal of in 5 years or in 2 years or whatever your goal is. I think just work backwards, and you need to basically reverse engineer your life to figure out year by year exactly what you need to do to set yourself up for success. So when I was in France, I was 19 years old, and I knew by the age of around 25, I wanted to be in New York. And then I worked backwards, and I was like, okay, if I'm 19, I was my third year of undergrad. For me to move to New York, I was considering either getting my master's of public health or going to law school. So for me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna graduate undergrad when I am 21, and then I'll work for a couple of years, 1 to 2 years. And then I ended up working for 3 years, but at the time I was like, okay, let me work for 1 to 2 years and then either get my MPH or my law degree, and then figure out a way to get recruited by a company in New York to bring me here. Obviously, my life didn't go exactly as planned. I ended up just going to university in New York because I felt like that would be the easiest way for me to move to New York, would be to go to university in New York and then be exposed to companies in New York. And obviously that is what ended up happening, and now I work in the city. I remember during the pandemic, I was 22, or I started the pandemic when I was 21, and then I turned 22. And I remember there was a point where I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to move to New York, because that's where I want to live. That's where I want to do my life. That's the lifestyle that I want to have. So that's how I figured out, okay, I'm going to get my MPH at Columbia and do everything I can to get recruited by a company in New York so that I can stay in the city after I graduate. Giving yourself a time frame and a range of when you want things to happen for you. So if that's in 5 years or 3 years, and just work backwards from there, and just be very specific. In year 1, this is what I need to do. In year 2, this is what I need to do. And obviously things don't always go as planned, but having a general idea and a place that you're working towards will just help you stay on track even when things don't go as planned. I didn't end up going to law school, but I knew that I did want to go to get an advanced degree. So just knowing that I wanted to get an advanced degree had me looking at other programs that I could do aside from law, because I decided that law wasn't for me, but I knew I wanted an advanced degree. So I was like, okay, what other degrees can I get, and what other degrees will allow me to live the life that I want to have? And then the next step, and I think this is so underrated and so many people don't do this, but it's to find people in real life that are currently where you want to be and asking them what they did to get there and if they have any advice for you. And I think a really easy way to find people that are doing what you want to do is LinkedIn Premium. When I was still in Canada living at home before I moved to New York, I went on LinkedIn and I spoke to this was during the pandemic, but I spoke to so many people in law school and from Columbia that were in positions that I wanted to be in, and I just had like 15 to 20-minute Zoom calls with them, and I just asked them what they did, how they got there, how they liked it, what their recommendation would be, if they have any advice for me. And you will be so surprised. Most people want to help you, especially people who are like doing well. People that are doing well love to help other people. That's been my experience. And people, I had there were girls that were like helping me with my application to Columbia, and these are girls that had never met me. They just wanted to help me. You never know, you'll have one conversation with someone that might lead to another conversation, that will lead to another conversation, and that's how you end up getting an interview. I think informational Zoom calls with people that are doing what you want to do is such an easy way to just get your name out there and to get people to know who you are. And then also, just for yourself, you'll have people that will like tell you exactly like what you should do if you want to move to New York City, or you want to get this kind of job and have this kind of lifestyle. Like, they'll just be real with you and they'll tell you. And I remember I went to this networking event last fall. This woman told me the best way to figure out how to get the job that you want is to find somebody who currently has that job and ask them how they did it, because they are currently working in that job and they have the most up-to-date advice and information. For me, it just makes the most sense to just find people that are doing what you want to do and ask them, like, how did you do it? What advice do you have for me? If you feel lost and you don't know where to start and you don't even know how to picture your dream life because you just feel so lost, I think that a good way to find your spark again is to find a way to challenge yourself, because the brain likes to be challenged. And I find that physically challenging yourself or academically challenging yourself is such a good way to find that spark again. And I think that's why so many people in their mid-20s start running marathons, because it's like people are searching for some kind of purpose, and having something that you're working towards just makes life more exciting again. So whether that is running a marathon or moving to a different country, studying abroad, I think studying abroad is it's so challenging, but it's so rewarding when you finally complete it. Like, okay, so I need to leave to work, but the last piece of advice, especially to like young girls in their late teens and early 20s, is to really just stay focused on the life that you want to have. Just try not to get caught up with trying to fit in with everyone else, and really just focus on where you want to be in your late 20s and your 30s versus focusing on what everyone else is doing, because time flies and there are so many things that you might think in the moment are such a big deal, and I don't know, they make you so angry or so upset, and then I feel like you get to your late 20s and you realize like none of that stuff matters. It's just so much more rewarding to have a goal and to have an idea of where you want your life to be and the kind of life that you want to have when you get older, than to be caught up in such trivial things that literally will not matter in 5 years. I feel like if you feel lost, it's a very easy way to like get caught up with what other people are doing, but it doesn't matter. You turn 25 or you turn 30 and none of that stuff is gonna matter, and you just need to stay focused on the things that are going to matter, which is the kind of life that you're gonna have, the people that are gonna be in your life, the career that you're gonna have, and just doing the work to set yourself up so that you can have the career that you want or the life that you want. You know, I remember when I was young, there was this quote that I loved: if this will matter in 5 years, then it shouldn't matter now. And I totally agree with that, because truly, there's so many things it's like you won't even remember in 5. There's so many things you're not even gonna remember in 1 year, let alone 5 years. So it's like, why are you letting it bother you now? Or why are you letting it dictate the trajectory of your life if it's not gonna matter in literally 1 year, let alone 5 or 10? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you're still watching, thank you. Bye.